Good afternoon and welcome to Lariat TV News Today. I'm Melanie Pace.
And I'm Noah Torr. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the latest on an auto pedestrian fatality near the Baylor campus on Thursday night. Traffic on I-35 was shut down after a 72-year-old man was struck and killed while trying to cross the interstate at about 8:40 p.m. Police say Donald Sanford was walking in the southbound lanes. One vehicle swerved and missed him, but the second car struck the man. The female driver of that vehicle was rushed to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It's not known why Sanford was in the roadway. Belmead police notified the next of kin of his death. That driver will not face charges.
The Big 12 Conference announced it has concluded its verification process of Baylor on Tuesday, and the conference will fine the university $2 million for reputation damage, plus make the school pay $1.65 million for legal fees. Following the school's sexual assault scandal that saw head football coach Art Briles fired and President Ken Starr and the athletic director Ian McCall resign, Baylor has been unanimously verified by the Big 12 Conference in compliance with the conference's bylaws following a third-party review. From February 2017 to now, the Big 12 has withheld $14.25 million in revenue from Baylor. In verifying the university, the Big 12 will not withhold additional revenue. Big 12 Board of Directors Chairman and West Virginia University President Gordon G. said the conference supports Baylor's new leadership, including President Linda Livingstone and Athletic Director Mack Rhodes.
The My Culture is Not a Costume campaign raises awareness about cultural appropriation on and off campuses around America.
I spoke to Dr. Mia Moody Ramirez to find out what cultural appropriation during Halloween really means.
Baylor students may be legal adults, but they aren't too old for Halloween costumes.
Okay, for Halloween, I was gonna be Nelly, you know, and Band-Aid, you know what I'm saying?
And I plan on being Beetlejuice.
I want to be Phantom. No, wait. The Reaper.
I want to be a Ninja Turtle.
I'm gonna be Guy Fieri.
As you're getting your costume ready, Director of American Studies Dr. Mia Moody Ramirez says to remember to be culturally sensitive.
Cultural appropriation is borrowing someone else's culture without giving them credit or without using it the way that it was intended. So when you think of cultural appropriation in Halloween, you think of someone maybe dressing up in a costume to reflect someone else's culture, but maybe they don't really know the meaning of that culture.
Student Body President Hannah Causey encouraged students to celebrate Halloween in a safe, fun, and respectful manner via an email last Friday to Baylor Student Body.
Have fun. It is still Halloween, and there's still many costumes out there that you can wear that would not be cultural appropriation.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Melanie Pace.
The Baylor community mourns the passing of longtime psychology professor Jim Patton, who died Wednesday night at home. Patton joined the Baylor faculty in 1980. At Baylor, he was department chair from 1992 to 2004 and served several terms on the faculty senate. In 2005, Patton received the W.R. White Meritorious Service Award, which honors individuals who have rendered outstanding service to Baylor. Baylor sent out an email on Thursday asking the community to keep Patton's wife Christy, son Dustin, and his extended family in their thoughts and prayers.
Protesters lined the sidewalk of McLennan County District Attorney's Office last Friday afternoon to speak out against the potential plea deal in the Jacob Walter Anderson sexual assault case. Arlington senior Sierra Smith planned Friday's demonstration to express the community's displeasure with the prospect of a plea bargain and to stand in support of the alleged victim. After the plea deal was presented to Anderson, he pleaded no contest to unlawful restraint. This would result in a fine of $400, 3 years of deferred probation, and required counseling, but no jail time, and he would not have to register as a sex offender. 19th State District Court Judge Ralph Strother, who ordered a pre-sentencing investigation, intends to make his decision whether to accept or reject the plea agreement on December 10th.
Baylor's annual mass meeting took place on Thursday night as a way to honor the Immortal 10.
LTVN's Kennedy Dendy talked with the homecoming torchbearers about this very special tradition.
Baylor students gathered together in the Farrell Center for a very special homecoming tradition in honor of the Immortal 10. 10 students who lost their lives in a bus train accident on January 22, 1927. 4 students known as the Torch Bearers were selected to represent their respective classes as a way to keep the Baylor tradition alive. In addition, students were each chosen to represent members of the Immortal 10.
I got the email and I was really excited, and I started shaking actually, because it's as cheesy as it sounds, it's kind of like a dream come true for me, because my mom went to Baylor, and so I've been dreaming of Baylor my whole life, and so being able to represent my class in this way is just an incredible opportunity.
My family has gone to Baylor, my grandparents, aunts and uncles, so I definitely have deep roots at Baylor, and I really don't know what emotions are going to come out, but all I know is I'm excited for it.
Mass meeting began in 1928 but has changed over the years. However, the deep meaning of this tradition remains the same.
Green and gold jerseys could be found scattered along the tracks for hundreds of yards.
It's a really great honor to represent the freshman class, and I'm really excited.
Just take every chance you get to pour back into this school and get everything you can out of it, because it's the best place on earth.
This tradition challenges the students to remember that no day is guaranteed and that it is important to make the very most of one's Baylor experience. For Lariat TV News, I'm Kennedy Dendy.
Another favorite homecoming tradition among students and alumni is Baylor's Pigskin Review. The top 8 acts from all universities sing get to perform, but this year there were a few rule changes. LTVN's Caroline Waterhouse tells us more.
Few changes were made this year to the setup of Baylor tradition Pigskin that came as a shock to many sororities and fraternities.
There's been a new fire code rule that's been put in place. So now there's a 200-person limit for the stage. And so any kind of paired act will always have an issue with that, because it's the sorority and the fraternity. Most of the time for just the sororities it doesn't really have an impact, and then for the fraternities it doesn't have an impact. So
certain groups had to rearrange their routines quickly with the new ruling. However, the groups had to abide by the safety rules and continued on with their performances.
I do know some people that were in the paired acts, and they had over 200 people, so they had some issues of trying to figure out how to let everybody participate but still keep to the 200-person rule. And so I know they had to make some last-minute adjustments with everything, but they worked really hard, and everybody in Pigskin's really proud of them because they are making it work. So
several of the parties formed processes to deal with the ruling based on how to minimize their numbers of people on stage.
So we thought we were going to have an issue with it because we originally on our sheet had over 200 girls sign up, but after we had girls drop and there was a couple girls that actually signed up twice, we pared our numbers down and it was no longer an issue for us, for Pigskin.
Despite the surprise,
homecoming season is in full swing, and Baylor Bears have plenty of opportunities to show their school spirit this weekend.
We've got homecoming schedule details coming right up after this.
Homecoming weekend has begun, and Bears from all over the world are returning to campus this weekend to take part in the festivities. Thursday night marked the first of 4 Pigskin performances throughout the weekend, and bonfire activities begin at 6 p.m. Friday. Students and alumni who want to attend the country's largest homecoming parade on Saturday have to wake up early to be there at 7 a.m., but there's plenty of time to grab breakfast before Matt Rule's Bears take on Oklahoma State at 11. For the full homecoming schedule, visit Baylor's website. With all of these upcoming activities, LTVN's Kennedy Dendy caught up with students on campus to find out which homecoming traditions they are most looking forward to.
I'm a big football guy. I'm ready for the football game, ready to run the line. Even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
The parade, I think it's going to be really, really fun, and there's like so many groups that I know that are going to be there, so I'm really excited to see them all.
The bonfire, because I hear that all the alumni is coming together, and I think that's just like a fantastic way to bring everyone back to the school and experience all the different generations that Baylor had.
The game, I look forward to going to it. I wish it was a little later, but I'm really pumped about that.
What I'm most excited for is the parade and just seeing the entire Baylor community and really a lot of Waco come out and celebrate all the good things that happen here on campus.
Definitely the parade, especially how, like, since I've got here, everyone's like, oh, Baylor has one of the biggest, like, homecoming parades. I'm definitely excited to see that. Like, I'm ready.
I'm definitely excited for that football game. Sick 'em Bears, I will be running the line again.
Yes, of course.
I'm just ready to turn it up. It's homecoming time.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Kennedy Dendy.
Baylor students enjoyed free food on Tuesday night at the Baylor's family dinner with the Livingstones. President Linda Livingstone and First Gentleman Brad Livingstone spent time hanging out with students and eating food from popular Waco food trucks. Students were provided free dinner when they showed up with their Baylor IDs. Last year, 1,500 students were expected, but over 4,000 showed up. Director of Student Activities Matt Burchett said he hopes the event helps students feel cared for and appreciated. Hosted by the Livingstones, the dinner was designed to express gratitude for the student body. This is the second year for the dinner, which Burchett said will likely become an annual event.
Baylor royalty gained 9 new queens and princesses on Thursday night during the first Pigskin Review Show.
LTVN's Savannah Cooper tells us more about the homecoming queen and her court.
Baylor Homecoming is here and campus is beaming with green and gold pride. One of the highlights during homecoming is the crowning of a queen in her court. Thursday night, Phoenix senior Kennedy Moore won the crown representing Beta Upsilon Chi, kicking off an eventful weekend. From 58 nominees, a panel of judges narrowed the pool down to just 9 girls. 4 queens were crowned for being exemplary in academics, community service, philanthropy, and Baylor involvement, along with 4 princesses. Houston junior Caroline Tinker thoroughly enjoyed the nomination process of getting to know the other girls and proudly representing the Mobius Mathematics Society. But more importantly, she's proud of her decision to make Baylor her home.
I'd always known that I'm supposed to love others, but that really didn't show up until I came to Baylor. And throughout this whole process, I've been able to learn more about others. And the most important thing that I've learned here at Baylor is that you need to listen to others. Everybody has a voice, and you need to respect that voice.
Reporting for Lariat TV News, I'm Savannah Cooper.
The new Zeta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated is bringing its own twist to Baylor Homecoming. The fraternity will host its 3rd annual Royal and Pure Step Show on Friday at the Waco Hippodrome. And steppers from all across the South will take the stage to showcase their moves and compete for a $3,000 prize. The event begins at 6:30 p.m. and tickets can be purchased online for $15 or for $20 at the door.
Baylor students didn't have to leave campus to get their Halloween chills and thrills this year. LTVN's Caroline Waterhouse caught up with Phi Gamma Delta about their annual Fiji Fright Night Haunted House.
Fiji had their annual event Fright Night October 26th and 27th. The fraternity's popular haunted house drew in a long line of people eager to be scared.
The biggest thing for me is pulling everyone together and showing Baylor that this is something that we put together for them, and this is something that freshmen can look forward to every year, and people that went to it last year or this year can look forward to next year. We want this to be kind of a cornerstone event for Baylor and for the Baylor experience.
The boys of Fiji donned in terrifying masks, blood, and even clown attire as students nervously entered the maze.
The guys love doing it, so it's a win-win to try to pull this big of an event together for USO.
Fright Night is one of the fraternity's biggest events that supports the USO, which is their philanthropy.
Fiji's philanthropy is USO, so we get to come alongside of Fiji and help them give back to the organization that they have chosen to support. So it's an honor that they choose to include us in that, and we really love to help them plan events so that they can raise money to give to their philanthropies.
The event pulled large success as screams could be heard within the tents of the haunted house and laughter after emerging from it.
And I think I'm excited just for people to get scared. I think that we had a great turnout yesterday with it, and so I hope that continues today.
With Lariat TV News, this is Caroline Waterhouse.
Matt Rule's Bears are looking for a win tomorrow after last week's blowout loss to West Virginia.
We've got Sports with Caroline coming up right after the break.
It's not just a school to me, it's home.
Home.
Everyone's there to help you and to see you succeed.
Challenging.
Like, I'm here, I can do this. Friends.
Friendship.
Relationships.
There's people that know you and people that are there for you around every corner.
It's the shared experience. Rigorous.
Growth.
Transformative. Tradition.
Tradition. Faith.
Faith. I've loved every second of it. It's family.
It's home.
It's Baylor.
It's homecoming and the Baylor Bears are ready to bounce back this weekend. After a blowout loss against West Virginia, Matt Rule and the Bears are searching for redemption against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who are coming off with a win over the red-hot Texas Longhorns. In the midst of fighting for a bowl game, Rule might be without his starting quarterback, Charlie Brewer, as he is in concussion protocol right now. If he can't play, Jalen McClendon will start for Baylor. Rule said he doesn't want to rush Brewer back onto the field.
Thursday, Xavier Newman was cleared to play, but he wasn't 100%, and so he stood on the boot and the sideline with me, and I'm trying to think, Harrison Hand cleared to play, but he's not 100%. So that management of that as a coach is you have to have Charlie get as many reps as he can to be ready, but you better also have Jalen ready, and you better also have Gary ready, and there's only so many reps.
Catch the Bears in action at McLean Stadium at 11 o'clock on Saturday. The Lady Bears played their last exhibition game this week and officially start their regular season next week against Nicholls State. LTVN's Noah Tor has the story.
On Manager Appreciation Night, the managers came out to play, and so did the Bears. Baylor faced the Texas A&M Commerce Lions in their second exhibition game, and Baylor won the game 127-61, but the team still had troubles. One specifically was fouling. In the first exhibition game, freshman Queen Igbo fouled out in 7 minutes, and tonight freshmen Nalissa Smith and Caitlin Bickle both fouled out.
Tell him who caught your fever.
Nalissa.
It's contagious from one freshman to the other.
Despite the foul trouble against Commerce, head coach Kim Mulkey says that isn't the main problem her team faces right now.
We gave up too many points. 61 points. Guys, you can't give up that many points, okay? Missed too many free throws again. And we have too many people sitting over there by me in foul trouble. So all three of those areas will be watched on film. All three of those areas can be corrected.
One area that doesn't need much more attention is the point guard position. Dee Dee Richards sat out of the game due to an ankle injury, so Chloe Jackson handled most of the ball handling duties. She had 7 of the team's 38 assists, and Mulkey says she's very impressed how Jackson has transitioned into her new role.
I'm very pleased with Chloe Jackson. That's a kid that's never had to play point guard, and she can do it. She pushes the ball up the floor. She's going to be fine.
The ladies officially start their season next Tuesday, November 6th at 6 p.m. in the Farrell Center. With Lariat TV News, I'm Noah Tor.
While the Lady Bears already have 2 exhibitions under their belt, the men have been working quietly in the background preparing for their opening game next week on November 6th against Texas Southern right after the Lady Bears' first game. Baylor's head coach Scott Drew only has 4 returning players this year. The rest are either transfers or freshmen. And because of all the new blood, Drew says the more in-game experience his players can have, the more prepared they will be.
Again, I think as many opportunities as we can allow them to play 5-on-5 with officials or game-like situations where they're improvising rather than everything being so controlled or drill work, because we're tipping it off next Tuesday.
The number 10 Bears stormed past the Iowa State Cyclones 3-0 Sunday night in Kansas City, Missouri, kicking off a strong start in the Big 12 Soccer Championship. In the second half of the match, Baylor struck gold offensively with a shot 5 minutes in by senior midfielder Julie James, later followed by penalty kick from freshman forward Taylor Moon to cement their 3-0 win. With this 14th win, Baylor is now at an all-time record amongst active members in the Big 12 Conference. The Bears will face Texas Tech in the semifinals on Friday at 4:30 p.m. at Swope Soccer Village in Kansas City. Both the men and women's tennis teams travel to Arizona next week to compete in the ITA Fall Championship. Despite some concerns, Sven Law will be healthy and ready to play along with Jimmy Bendick in the doubles bracket. LTVN's Noah Tor tells us more.
Baylor's tennis teams have the ITA Fall Championships next week, and for the men, the duo of Sven Law and Jimmy Bendick has been stellar. In the ITA Regionals, Law and Bendick went 3-0 before having to retire due to injury. But despite their early exit, the two are still technically undefeated in the fall and already clinched their bid to the championships in the All-American tournament. Law is back on the court and healthy, and the duo of Law and Bendick have ambitions to win it all. Bendick says he and Law have the tools to make them one of the best duos in the nation.
Sven and I have had a very up and down relationship, especially in the beginning of his time here. So it was really special that, you know, we've had a lot of issues, and sort of we've able to, because of those issues, we've grown together and we've learned what we like, what we don't like, how to treat each other, how to handle each other. And yeah, that's directly the reason why we were successful in All-Americans, and it's going to be why we're going to be successful going forward.
Both the men and women's championship tournaments start on November 7th in Arizona. With Lariat TV News, I'm Noah Tor.
And that's your sports update for this Friday.
Thanks for watching Lariat TV News today.
We'll see you next Wednesday for a special election show. Have a great homecoming weekend.